Welcome back guys to another World of Warcraft video. It's Nexus here, and I've yet again got some more news about the future for this beloved MMO, be it something as little as the new mounts and pets that have been announced. In the patch 6.2.2 patch notes, there's been a preview of some of the upcoming pets and mounts that will eventually be available to us in game through the usual mundane methods such as purchasing from the in-game store, purchasing the collector's edition of Legion, or purchasing from a vendor with a number of Time Walk badges which can be earned from completing Time Walker dungeons and then spent in either Shatrath or Dalaran. I'm going to make this video quick, just a swift display of the new mounts and pets we're eventually going to see, with some images and brief descriptions, as well as my opinion on each individually. The first list is the mounts that we can expect to see coming in World of Warcraft, starting in patch 6.2.2 and going over into Legion. First up, the Illidari Felstalker. It's a mountable demon capable of flight, which is confirmed to be the collector's edition mount for the new expansion, Legion, all of the information for which you can find here. This Felstalker is definitely a model I find appealing. It looks nice, quite clean for a vicious beast demon, and does indeed look like something I can imagine a demon hunter riding. Being of similar origins, they remind me extremely of the Felguard hounds found in Hellfire Peninsula and Outland, just armoured and given a nice unique touch. I think it's quite an interesting model, certainly going with the theme of the next expansion, so it works as a collector's edition mount. For me personally, I'm rolling a Demon Hunter as soon as Legion drops, and I'll hopefully be able to get the collector's edition to obtain this wonderful looking mount, and if so, I will ride this thing everywhere the roads will allow. It looks fucking awesome. There are two purely ground mounts introduced in patch 6.2.2. The Grove Warden is a very aesthetically appealing mount, one that we saw in the Legion announcement trailer in its simplest form. You guessed it, it's a moose. Wait, I'm sure you've already seen that on screen, so forget I said anything. In all seriousness though, this looks pretty badass, and there's no getting past that it's a moose we're riding. Like others, the Grove Warden changes depending on your riding skill and location. This is going to be a shot mount, but perhaps we'll see a more traditional moose, obviously a less detailed version that could be purchased with reputation or other currency at some vendor. In the trailer we've already seen it on the Broken Isles, so it would make sense anyway. Wowhead describes these magical companions as the wardens of peaceful primordial groves within the Emerald Dream. The last confirmed ground-only mount we will see coming is the Minion of Grumpus. It's a very bulky, beast-like mount obtainable from the world event The Feast of Wintervale. No one quite knows when the legend of Grumpus began in Draenor, but his toys are just the worst. It appears to be a reskinned model of the older mount, the Challenger's War Yeti, which was added earlier this expansion in patch 6.0.2. Personally, it's not one of my favourites, but it's large, it's bold, and it could work for a few of you. Now we're on to the other flying mounts that will be introduced in patch 6.2.2. The Ironbound Wraith Charger is another mount that changes depending on your riding skill and location. This mount is acquired from Time Walking, purchasing from vendor Orzin in Dalaran using Time Walk badges, which are received after completing Time Walking dungeons. One thing to note is that the bridle of the Ironbound Wraith Charger, which unlocks it, is actually refundable until activated. Essentially a redesigned Iron Warhorse, it is a flying steed whose ethereal spirit is barely contained by its iron shell. The penultimate creation of Salanar the Horseman, these powerful steeds were once thought to have all been destroyed. The other mount obtainable through Time Walking and then purchasing with Time Walked badges from vendor Kupri in Shatrath City is the Eclipse Dragonhawk, which costs 50,000 Time Walked badges and is again refundable within 2 hours. This Time Walking mount is a beast much more to my liking, and somehow I could see myself actually flying on it. Their name, the Eclipse Dragonhawk, comes from where they were captured by renegade Blood Elves, Eclipse Point. Finally, we have the Heavenly Azure Cloud Serpent, initially brought into the game in Mists of Pandaria patch 5.0.1, as it matches the Pandaren theme. Warmth and serenity emanate from this great creature, which glows like the cloudless sky of a summer afternoon. The prerequisite for unlocking this mount is having the Lord of the Rains achievement, collecting over 300 mounts across your account. It's a tall task, but one that will most likely seem worth it when you're flying over mountains and forests on this dragon-appearing Azure Serpent. After all, it is heavenly. Now it's finally time to take a look at the pets that are being thrown into the game soon. First up is the collector's edition pet for Legion, Nibbles. It obviously goes to look like a younger, less mean and less armoured version of the Illidari Felstalker, which you saw earlier as a rideable mount. Again, I think this pet looks very good, very demony, and fits well with what we know about Legion. Having the two together would be a nice set of items from the collector's edition of Legion. I'm not experienced at pet battles, so take what I say with a grain of salt, but Nibbles does seem to have an okay array of abilities, all which I will put on screen with tooltips in a moment. Following on from Nibbles and keeping with the Legion theme, we have Murkidan, the official Blizzcon 2015 pet, and it's actually pretty badass. Basically it's Illidan as a damn Murloc. I've seen a lot of people on Facebook, Wowhead and other places get super hyped over Murkidan, and it's not hard to see why. Look at that cute little Murloc demon, night elf demon hunter thing, holding the warglaives of Azzinoth like it's nothing. Now we just need Murkidan as a companion too. Murkidan has some rather interesting abilities and works in true Illidari form. It even has Eye Beam, which we know demon hunters are having as a spell in Legion. Another of the pets coming from purchasing a Blizzard product is Zerodar, a pet designed as a mini Archon, which can be obtained on your World of Warcraft account from purchasing the collector's edition of the latest StarCraft 2 expansion, Legacy of the Void. The pet fits with the theme of the StarCraft expansion, with the Archon being surrounded in an aura of hazy lightning blue and white. While it's presumably quite small, it will look really nice alongside your character. The abilities vary from Arcane Slash to Illusionary Barrier. All of them will be displayed on the screen right now. The final proper pet that we know of is Brightpaw, a cute little purple feline character with what appears to be blue tattoos along its body and a scroll on its back. This magical kitty has so much energy that she will sometimes zip around for no reason whatsoever. Sounds good, and the pet, while not my favourite, is a magical pet that I'm sure will, in its simplicity, appeal to a few of you, especially night elves. The Brightpaw could be seen as a cub version of their Mystic Runesaber mount. Of course, it has to be an in-game shop mount, so make of that what you will. In pet battles, it has the rather obvious bite ability, but also has an ability called Cute Face, which increases your chance to dodge an attack by 25% for 4 turns. Wow. There are only 4 other pets introduced, none as worthy as those above. You have Grumpling from the Feast of Wintervale, and then 3 others, much duller and grim, who are from the Hallow's End world event. The Ghastly Rat, the Ghost Maggot, and the Spectral Spinner. You can even carry your pet on a red wooden sled. If you enjoyed and want to see more of this type of content, make sure to subscribe, leave a like so I know that this type of content is what you will want to see, and leave a comment so I know who you wonderful people are. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon when I release my World of Warcraft Zones overview video.